evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the layer of the film Exorcist. Tonight I will be reviewing Konosuba, the story of a teenager who dies an embarrassing death, then gets sent to a medieval world with a useless goddess, and creates a very unusual party with an explosion-obsessed arch-wizard and a masochistic crusader, and ends up going on weird adventures. The crew consists of director Takumi Kanazaki, Ri Ogura, and the story was written by Makoto Uzu. The music was created by Masato Koda, and it was created by Studio Dean. The cast involves Kazuma Sato, who is voiced by Jun Fukushima, and Arnie Pantoja. Aqua is voiced by Sora Amamiya and Faye Mata. Megami is voiced by Ri Takahashi and Erica Menendez. Darkness is voiced by Ai Kanyano and Christina V. And now onto my opinion. Let's start with why I hate that show so much, because it's easier to do. Problem 1, it's actually not a thing, but one person in particular. Aqua, the goddess of uselessness, depth, and water. My reason for saying this is because of most of her scenes involve her being a complete bitch to Kazuma, or screaming and crying like a total banshee, which actually made me grateful for all the times she's called an imitator, or she was hunted by her own followers in the second season. And she's also a huge burden on Kazuma's shoulders, because she's always getting eaten by monsters or attracting the undead. And Kazuma has to save her each time, which was shown in the second episode when she tries to use her goddess punch on a giant toad and ends up getting swallowed whole, to which Kazuma has to cut into it while it was standing still. And yes, I will admit she is pretty cute, but being cute does not win an RPG, even if it's real. I would also put Megami and Darkness on this list, but they sometimes have their funny moments despite also being useless, because one refuses to use just any other spell other than the explosive spell, and the other wishes to be just a human shield due to her masochism and her ability to hit nothing at all. The second problem would have to be the concept, which is basic as a Isekai mixed with a comedy, which it doesn't really work, because you'd actually expect the show to basically be more serious, since it's a person being sent to another world, or being forced to fight to survive, or to go back to their original world, where there's literally nowhere that this show is going from what we see. The main group hasn't even moved from this starting area unless it's to go to a hot spring, and they've been fighting with the same gear since day one, except for Kazuma's sword, which changes in the second season, but that's it. Lastly, I have to say that the second OVA actually disappointed me at the end by going to start the title card after Kazuma used steel on the guild clerk and her client, and my reason is pretty obvious if you're a guy or you just like that scene, because we've always seen the after effect of this trick, so why should this be any different? Now on to the good parts, starting with a few of the side characters like Wiz the Lich, who owns one of the magic shops in the first town, which is then taken over by Veneer, Chris the thief, who taught Kazuma his first skill, which he used on her, and Kazuma, the main protagonist, who actually tries to get somewhere in this world, despite being lazy for a few times, and despite his many perverted exploits, like again stealing everyone's underwear, mostly girls. Now these three actually work with an Isekai anime, and I wouldn't mind seeing the anime with just them as the main cast or the main party, instead of what we got, but we can't always get what we want, because two of them are way too underused to the point that they are again just side characters, and Kazuma, our only useful main character, is stuck with a terrible party that does nothing but goof around and waste his money. The second good part would have to be the beautiful scenery that we see in each episode From the almost realistic looking stone buildings and courts to the beautiful grassy plains that our main characters fight in, and actually makes me pretty sad that all these landscapes were wasted on this piece of trash. There's also the really good monsters like the Dullahan General Verdia with his dark armor, his matching black headless horse, and his dark minions that are literally the creepiest fucking things in this show. We also have the Winter Shogun with his amazing ice-like armor, which almost makes this show interesting to watch. Not to mention, we also have Kazuma's rival, Kyoya, who wielded the magical sword, Graham, and then had it stolen by Kazuma, which actually got me to laugh, which is pretty hard when it comes to this show, unless it's a panty scene. And then there's the cool battle during the final episode of the first season, where they break through the barrier, and then they try to blow up the destroyer, which was amazing until it self-destruct. But there was even a cool scene in, I don't know, the Hot Spring episode, where we watched the group destroy the slime, even if it killed Kazuma, which was actually pretty cool. And these scenes are really rare. I also enjoyed the first OVA, because I was kind of jealous of Kazuma, since he got to do what most men can't, and that is to fulfill most of his dirtiest fantasies until the choker finally came off. And I definitely know that a lot of men would agree with me on this. And you guys can't lie. To be clear, these good things can't really cover up the glaring problems that I stated earlier, and it gets me worried about the movie that's coming out, or came out last week. And if you haven't figured it out yet, I'm not a huge fan of this show, and I feel it's not as good as it could have been. I mean, this is the same studio that created great shows like Vampire Knight, Sakura Trick, Fruits Basket, and finally Log Horizon Season 2, some of my favorite animes. So I gratefully give this show a 5 out of 10 for its many problems, and I don't recommend it unless you're someone like me who's just really into anime or just wants to see a good panty scene. Yes, I know, call me a pervert, whatever. Next week, I will be doing Kaguya-sama Love is War, which, what I've heard from, it's actually a pretty good show, and it's known for its dancing meme, which I'm kind of excited for. So stay tuned next week, and I'll see you guys then. Good night, everybody!